Here we go. Here we go. Another day, another dollar in the stock market. What do we have today? In addition to the taco of yesterday, we've got the Roblox, for some reason, up of the 8% and figure up 5.23%. Pretty wild, honestly, some of these moves here. Although the banking sector, unfortunately, taking a little bit of a poopy doopy. We'll talk about that in just a moment, though. You know, we've kind of been watching JP Morgan kind of rocket to this all-time high over here in this diverging uptrend, suggesting, a technical down, movement to the downside here was very likely. And so we're seeing some of that manifest now. We're seeing, let's take a look at what some of the notes are here on Roblox. Roblox to report fourth quarter results, Feb 5, so it really doesn't tell us anything here. Yeah, it looks like we've just, I guess there's just been too much selling, suggesting it's finally time to go shopping at Roblox. It's actually sort of a perfect bounce over. That's not quite. It broke through a little bit. But we've got a retracement level here at about 75.68. We can see a little bit of a move here. Back up off the line. Let's take a peek at what the goodies are for the day in the world of news. We did start with Taco on the Powell situation based on Donald Trump's distancing himself from Bondi, as well as warnings from bankers. But let's go pull up the Bondi article and go through it in a little bit more detail. Trump, this comes right after the attack against Powell. So essentially right afterwards, you get the green light to dump this complaint about Pam Bondi. Which is very interesting. President Trump has complained to aides recently about Pam Bondi, describing her as weak and ineffective, and a weak and ineffective enforcer of his agenda. The criticisms appear to be part of an intense campaign by Trump to pressure the Justice Department to more aggressively pursue his priorities. Some officials said Trump has previously criticized Bondi, but his vocal concerns about his attorney general have grown more frequent excuse me, in recent months. I need some tea. If only I could spawn in some tea. Oh, what's that I hear? Oh, I think that's a coffee cup. Oh, wait, what's that? A tea bag? Oh, let's try this. Oh, yeah, look at that. Isn't that fancy? $70 worth of Amazon purchases. Well, a little cooker. I think it's kind of cool. Anyway, now I'm steeping tea. All right. So this month, Trump had talked with allies about how he could appoint special counsels to the Justice Department. He is so frustrated with what he sees as slow progress in his work. I don't think he realizes that legal work is very, very slow. He should know that. I mean, he's probably one of the most experienced litigants. Chief amongst his grievances is what he sees as Bondi's failure to quickly and effectively prosecute investigators who had been pursuing him. So what Donald Trump said he wouldn't do, he's frustrated about how slow it's going to go after Comey and Letitia James. Yeah. Both criminal cases were dismissed. Trump wanted to see that cases continue. Justice Department investigation into another of Trump's antagonists, Powell, became public Sunday night. Powell, whom Trump has repeatedly berated, pressure to lower rates, disclosed the Justice Department was pursuing a criminal investigation over his testimony last summer. Trump has also complained frequently about Bondi's handling of the Epstein files. Right. That's a lot on Bondi's desk. Or should I say, nothing on Bondi's desk, because there are no files. What files? It's kind of funny. It's like, oh, we're going to release all of them. We're just going to use black highlighter over a bunch of them. Conservative activists and influencers criticizing Bondi. Blah, blah, blah. Trump at times complained to Bondi directly about frustrations with the department. Bondi has grown concerned over the past month about Trump's complaints. In a statement, to Wall Street on Friday afternoon, Trump said Pam's doing an excellent job. She was a friend for many years. The radical left say she's not. White House sent memos, full support, blah, blah, blah. Grand jury subpoenas. Bloody, bloody, bloody. Yeah. So, in my opinion, a lot of this is just a tool to weaken the attack against Powell. Look at this. She's ineffective because she has no probable cause for any of these unconstitutional indictments. Oh. Somebody says, I thought Hegseth would be first under the bus. Nah, he's driving the bus. This is hilarious and predictable. She's done every crooked, deplorable thing he's asked. Completely debased herself of every last shred of decency and integrity. And yet, because he's an idiot who doesn't understand you can't just make up charges and get convictions, he's going to kick her to the curb. This is foreshadowing what's to come of all of these morally bankrupt yahoos. I love reading the comment section of this. Bondi is one of his most compliant lapdogs, deploying lawfare at his whim to silence opposition. That he thinks isn't enough is baffling and troubling. Shocking Trump would promote someone, then promptly turn on them. He's not satisfied with Pam Bondi, the very epitome of a bootlicker who's always eager to obey his every wish. Who could possibly be more accommodating? What a puzzle. This is hilarious. Was it worth it, Pam? Oh, tough life. You abandon all dignity and principles to pursue politically based cases driven by Trump's desire for revenge. But just because courts still insist on the rule of law, Trump blames you for not delivering quick results. For this and other slights, you thank him, but it doesn't help. Trump and Bondi deserve each other. Wow. Angry old man yelling at the clouds, upset that Attorney General isn't moving fast enough to indict the clouds for stealing the 2020 election. Oh, man. This is hilarious. All right. Enough of that. We got to get some entertainment, but that's enough entertainment. So yeah, on the earnings call this morning, you did have a little bit of complaining about Powell, which is good. I want to see if we have a relaxation at all in the bond market. Not really. You had a okay CPI report this morning. Some core components did rise, but it wasn't terrible. I mean, let's go pull it. CPI. Inflation report. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So I always like starting at the bottom of them. Okay. Well, they changed how they do this. Usually they just link these other tables. It's a little confusing. That's interesting. They got rid of all of the links. Well, that's annoying. That's crazy. They got rid of all the links and they just put everything on the same page. I like the links. All right, fine. This is by category for December. Okay. We'll just look at the summary then. Wow, airfare is up 5.2%. That's quite a lot in December. Transportation services broadly were down 1.3. Owner's equivalent rent. See, this right here, the fact that it's still at 0.3 is mind-blowing to me. Because, rents are nationwide softening. Quite remarkable. It's interesting. You keep seeing all these new, rent control policies and ideas. And all it really does is crimp your supply, and it just makes the situation worse. But, whatever. So, what else have we here? Education, negative 0.8. What is this, 19 over here? Subscription of rental video and video games. Oh, because Microsoft hiked prices. I wonder if that's their basket. Because they hiked, Xbox Live prices. I just, went in and canceled. I'm like, I don't play this anyway right now. So, oh yeah, and the Word, which I don't use anyway. Well, sometimes people send us a Word doc, but I just put it into Pages. Now, let's see here. Well, like, I'm going to vote. I'm going to vote by not paying. Anyway. Yeah, I mean, broadly, the CPI report this morning wasn't terribly exciting. It was pretty much at expectations. A little bit of a miss on one of the month-over-months, but nothing incredible here. But if we look at the yield curve, we're still bobbing around the sixes here. This whole Powell drama did sort of pop us up again right here, which was unfortunate because we were on a really good downtrend post the jobs report. This was the downtrend post jobs. And I had to push it back up. Crazy. Crazy. How Trump makes good on his Iran threat. Let's take a look at this. President Trump has warned Tehran that Washington is locked and loaded if the regime slaughters peaceful protesters. The regime is calling its bluff. Well, I think we're now way past 42 dead. I think substantially more. What broker do you recommend for UGMA accounts for kids? I've never tried Schwab, but Fidelity's been great. They make it very easy to open the accounts. And I usually use UTMAs, the Transfer to Minors Act. It's the same thing, though, really. A little bit of a difference, but, gift limits versus income, right? Whatever. Trump has proved he isn't Barack Obama on Iran policy. Trump withdrew from the agreement. This is an editorial, isn't it? Oh, yeah, this is an editorial by these people. I don't know who these people are. Who's this guy? Senior Iran analyst for some think tank in Washington. Okay. Along with his homie, Saeed Ghasheminjad. Yeah, same company. All right. So, seize vessels would be the first warning shot while denying revenue. Americans to be mindful. Let's see here. The time has come to shatter this confidence. Here, stunning military operation against Maduro can bolster American power, but the Islamic Republic might still be gambling that White House will sit out. Trump can change this impression by targeting the regime's economic arteries to combat the slaughtering of its own people. Iran is under severe economic strain. Its currency has fallen. Protests around the regime have spread nationwide now. Tehran exports more than $2 billion of oil a day, which generate revenues to fund the proxies. They're basically calling Washington weak, and they're basically egging Iran on. Now, this company, these people, they're non-proliferation people. So I think they're really secretly nervous about Iran getting a nuclear weapon, whether they say it or not. I think that's where their bias is. But I also think that's fair. That was the nuclear deal talk. Oppress the Iranian advance. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, here, they do mention it. Because it would suppress the ballistic missile and nuclear program. Yeah. Seizing tankers wouldn't require Congress. We know where the ships are. Every tanker seized is a victory for the opposition against Iran. A bankrupt regime can't pay its paramilitaries or Shiite Foreign Legion to shoot citizens indefinitely. When the regime's income evaporates, so will the loyalty of its security forces. I mean, honestly, I think it's a good point. I'm curious to see what people are saying about it. Unmitigated disaster, which was okay. Democrats are looking at such failures and it's embarrassing for them. Willing to defend despots in order to be opposed to Trump. I hope the public is paying attention. If theocracy fails in Iran, those B2 strikes will look even better. Great opinion piece, cut off the Iranian thugs at the knees. You could tell this is a very conservative newspaper because a lot of the comments are actually typically in favor of Trump and Republicans and anti-Democrats. But they also recognize that there's this duality where you could like some of what Trump does, but you could hate the sort of some of the nonsense with the retribution in the DOJ. Somewhat interesting. Target stores become ICE battleground. Oh, do they buy while they're at Target? Is this a catalyst? Holy smokes. Minnesota has descended onto the store parking lots of Target. They're detaining Target employees. Wow. Both American citizens were later released. 2 American citizens were arrested. Wow. Retailers can't stop them from coming in. I mean, it's open to the public, so even though it's private property, it's hard to say, you can't come in. Home Depot's having to deal with it. Walmart hasn't commented. Wild. Let's see what the comments are on this. Yeah, so the video of ICE dragging this 17-year-old into their van, then the subsequent video of him after they dumped him off, bloodied and terrified, should be shown at every news station. Well, I haven't seen that. All right. Let's see what else is going on. All right. Lawfare. Let's see here. Behind the unraveling Apple Card. Yeah, JP Morgan says they need to rebuild the stack, the tech stack for the Apple Card. So I have the Apple Card and I like it, but I hate JP Morgan, so I'm disappointed, but might be the end of the Apple Card for me. So never going to be simple. Cards programs aren't big enough to put up for sale. Apple is finicky about details and control. Whatever. All right. Oh, by the way, I have a very jaded opinion about the Robinhood Gold Card. Correct me if I'm wrong. Tell me what you think about this. But I kind of think they are only giving the Robinhood Gold Card, whether it's accurate or not, their assumption, to people whom they assume are not going to spend a lot. Think about it. If somebody spends $300,000 a year on credit cards, the Robinhood Gold Card is going to be damn expensive for Robinhood. So just put that high spender on the wait list and then take somebody who's going to spend $15,000 on their credit card in a year, give them the gold card to pitch how great it is, the 3% back. I wouldn't be surprised if there's that sort of reverse income discrimination going on there. That would be very interesting. So I wonder if the credit bureaus do that. Do credit bureaus share spending information? That would be yes. Yeah. Look at this. The credit bureaus share a lot of financial information, including spending behavior, loan payments, credit utilization reported by lenders. Not every single transaction, but basically you get, overall amounts, right? So they already know when they do a credit check, somebody's like, why not limit rewards? Well, because of the branding, right? So branding wise, Robinhood could literally just say, we give unlimited 3%, which they do. But then they only give the card to people they assume, whether it's true or not, their assumption, are going to be low spenders. So then the costs of the card program stay low, and the high spenders don't ever get the card. That's evil. And I don't see, that's why I think it doesn't matter how much money you have in Robinhood. You could have 10 mil sitting in Robinhood, or you could have 10 grand in Robinhood. I don't think they care about how much money you have. I think they care about how much you're spending. It's kind of brilliant. All right. What else do we have? It's a jaded thought I have. Somebody says, I can see that I have the Robinhood card, but I spend like Graham Stephan. Let's go. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to live, you know? Frugality. Okay. So, let's see here. Yeah, on Greenland, I actually don't think that you need to buy Greenland. I think Trump will just end up leasing part of it. We own it, we defend it. You don't defend leases the same day, you have to own it. Oh, Trump said, friend. Yeah, I don't know if I believe that. And we'll have to defend Greenland. If we don't do it, China or Russia will. So I disagree with that. I think they'll end up with a lease. Because you can't always, like some of this is negotiating, right? I argue that this is just negotiating. So if Trump, think about this. Now let's write it down. If Trump says he doesn't want a lease, it might make them sweeten the pot for leasing it, right? It's just negotiating. So that's why I think and maintain that a leasing option is likely to happen. Department DoD manages 128 foreign bases in 51 countries. Yeah. In almost all cases, land is provided under bilateral agreements without charges for the land. Makes sense. Host countries generally permit the U.S. to build and operate facilities. We don't need ownership. Yeah, I agree with that. Some kind of agreement that's like, you guys could, park your military at this corner or whatever. Like, they benefit too. You put all the humans there. It's like GDP. Yeah. Denmark, founding member, says it's open to expanding the U.S. footprint on Greenland. Yeah. Like, I think you could easily make a deal. Danish ship. Man, that thing looks so good. That looks awesome, this ship. Smaller, but it still looks sick. Yeah. All right. What else? Paramount, Pentagon investing $1 billion in L3 Harris. Rocket motor business. Wow. That's cool. Yeah, we need more rocket motors. OpenAI set to run Super Bowl ad. I freaking knew it. Advertising is the next frontier. I'm telling you, man. OpenAI is expected to air a Super Bowl ad for the second straight year, escalating the battle for users. That's the next frontier. Advertising. That's why I love this Netflix sell-off, honestly. I love. Where is it? 89 bucks, bro. It's such a juicy sell-off. What are they selling for right now? I gotta stop using my iPad as a coaster and start using it as an iPad. You know, that might be smart. Okay, let's pop this open. Let's go find out here. Okay. So, let's see here. Stock tab, Netflix. All right. 1.62 peg, dude. 1.62 peg. Remember, like, you could go through all of these if you're a member in the alpha membership. We also just updated the app, so whether you have the app and you pay or not, there is an app update out. Highly encourage you all get the app update. Some bug fixes and upgrades. We're big fans of that. So make sure you go update the app. But anyway, yeah, I think it's fantastic. This is cheap, right? If you look at 1.6 peg divided by 6.6 divided by 2.67, 38% below where it should be, which is great. I love those misplacements. But the problem is it's just on a horrible downtrend, so that downtrend can keep going for a while. That not being a surprise. Okay, so now let's go see here. Let's see. Ads for OpenAI. $8 million now for 30 seconds. It used to be $1 million back in my day. Tech companies. Let's see here. So I think silver will hit 100 this year. That's possible. You know, that's a great psychological point. You know, MP Material had major issues at $100, which was a pretty easy call. But yeah, I mean, I don't buy precious metals or commodities. That's just not my world. But I love to me, what they're sending you signals of, this gold and silver move here, they're sending you signals of concerns about debt and concerns about tampering with the Fed and concerns about inflation. I think all of those concerns will fade. Unfortunately, when those concerns fade, the value of these can fall dramatically and rapidly. I'm not saying, oh, sell your gold and silver now. I'm just saying they're not a 10-year bet for me. They go in cycles, ups and downs. All right, let's see here. Like, the stocks that I like are stocks that I think are 10 baggers in 10 years, So they don't have to be big movers in the next 6 months. In fact, I'd prefer they're not big movers in the next 6 months. I want them to be stocks that are going to survive a recession if we have one, and then come out like a flaming rocket ship on the other side. That's the kind of stuff I like. Or if you don't have a recession, then they still go on the path of growth. Blah, blah. Okay, that's on the card. That's fine. All right, let's go to some of the others. Like, let's go check out the info. All right. Google goes electric to get quick data center approval. They should fast track approvals for data centers that supply some of their own power. Fair argument. OpenAI agrees to buy AI healthcare app for about 100 mil. 100 mil? That's less than HouseHack is worth. To buy Torch, a 1-year-old AI app. Wow. Okay. In equity, though. Wait, so they're getting paid in OpenAI shares? Oh, I'd hate that. I don't want to get paid in OpenAI shares. Torch enables customers to view and analyze their health data from companies like Kaiser. Okay. The deal value includes $60 million now. Oh, $60 million now, and the rest in equity to retain employees. I mean, that's okay. It's like a 60-40 split. That's more reasonable. Purchase could bolster OpenAI's plans to offer personalized healthcare assistant in GPT that analyzes medical records. And did they really need to buy this company to do that? Like, couldn't they already do that? Oh, but it's from systems like Kaiser. Medical scanning firms like Pernuvo and apps that track physical activities like Apple Health. Well, I guess maybe it just gives them a head start is probably what they're thinking of. Hence why the valuation maybe isn't that substantial. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. What else? Let's see. You know, NVIDIA's been doing a lot of these as well, and these acquisitions. But it just doesn't seem like NVIDIA's stock has really been pushing. Let me see really quickly. NVIDIA, a hardware sector has just been, it's been a little bit more stuck. You see this? Look at that. NVIDIA's really been stuck since July. Just the hardware cycle is a little bit, it's going to take more to really get people excited over here, I think. Not a horrible surprise. Okay, good. Let's keep going. So, few words, GMA, TMA. Well, again, one is transfer income, one is gift. So one's going to be subject to gift taxes, you know, once you gift more than like, what, 18,000, 17,000 a year or whatever. And the other one's not, because the child pays income. That's a very simplified answer. But Google should take a note of Meta savvy hiring. Meta considers doubling Ray-Ban's glass production. Yeah. Possibility of doubling production this year. Meta has floated the idea of increasing production to 20 million. I mean, I love the Meta glasses. I mean, you all know I've shilled them a million times. And you know, there will be competitors, and I can't wait for there to be competition. And I don't like the ones with the screen. You know, I thought they were just more annoying. To me, the whole point is just filming my family without, you know, a computer monitor in my face. So I didn't get those. I returned them. I sent them back. Sent them back where they came from. We don't want them here. Sounds too Trumpian. All right. Did I do this right? Yes. Okay, cool. There we go. Sorry, get that out of the way right there. All righty. So what else? Building out his vision of the metaverse, which was retarded. European eyeglass company has been effective, and they purchased a small stake in the company. I gotta write that down. I do think that's interesting. So let's go with, let's just do like AI news. And then today, Meta doubling potentially Meta glasses production. My opinion, bullish AI glasses will create more competition, right? That's the other thing. Like when you have Meta saying we're going to double our plans to do this, a lot more people are going to want to get into these glasses. I love it. I think it's fantastic. Like I want to make AI glasses for real estate. You know, like as you walk through it, how cool would that be? You could see like red flag, green flag, right? That'd be sick. We could get there with our real estate AI because we know what we're doing. Anyway. JP Morgan on home lending. JP Morgan is starting to see home lending business as home buyers start to benefit from lower mortgage rates. Remember that the big four are limited with how many loans and how good of loans I feel like they can give you. Definitely the amount, but I wouldn't be surprised by quality as well. So make sure you shop these puppies against loan brokers as well. Like the big four usually suck. for the mortgages, unless you've got some kind of like special perks with them or whatever. But I would certainly shop them. Don't assume that because they're Wells, Citi, JP Morgan, or Bank of America, they're going to be the best lender. I would be much more inclined to contact a local mortgage loan originator just by going to Yelp. Go to Yelp, type in MLO, mortgage loan originator, and make some phone calls. Get some other quotes if you're going to do this. I do think we'll have a refinance cycle here. And this will just be like phase one. It's early. Pretty busy day in home lending on the back of what happened in the mortgage market. Maybe we'll actually start to see some pickup there. Wow, a whole article for a one-liner. Bloomberg must be bored. Did you see Apple has a new subscription for Final Cut and Logic and putting AI into Keynote? No, I didn't see that. Let's go look at that. What versions of the glasses have? I have 1, the Ray-Bans, 2, the Oakleys, I think the Wayfarers, and then I have the sport ones for skiing. I freaking love those things. Okay, so let me go to, what was I going to look at? Oh, Apple. Okay, what is this? Apple now, as part of Apple's creator subscription. The hell is that? 2 hours ago? Oh, what do we got here? Starting on my birthday, how cute. What is all this crap? I haven't seen so many of these icons. The apps you need for everything you want to create. Craft stories with video in Final Cut. Reimagine images in Pixelmator Pro. Produce your best music in Logic Pro. Supercharge productivity with premium Keynote, Pages, and Numbers. Oh, they're putting AI basically into it all. Wow, dude, Apple's first AI product, like, that they're selling. That's exciting. That's actually really exciting. Good for them. I wonder what, like, if they'll be any good. Smarter, faster ways to craft, captivating videos, whatever. Everyone edit images and create striking images, whatever. What is this? Music. Premium content. Wow. Well, I wonder, I'd love to know, like, what they'll actually have. Use AI to find which part you're climbing stairs in. Oh, that's kind of interesting. For larger projects. Maintaining range. Okay. Beat detection. Align clips more effortlessly. Okay. I mean, that should have been able to do that a long time ago. Quickly batch export files that are optimized for any screen. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. I mean, Apple is really good at having these like really sexy demo pages. And then it's like, all right, this is like a marginal improvement, you know? So we'll see. But that's really interesting. Thanks for pointing that out. We were looking at, very briefly, Caterpillar this morning in the course member live stream for the Alpha Report. And, you know, it's actually fairly valued. Which is kind of good. Let's see here. Trump says Powell is incompetent or crooked. Ooh, wow. Fussy. All right. Either incompetent or crooked. Well, he was tacoing yesterday. He certainly doesn't do a very good job. Dramatic escalation, but the move disclosed over the weekend came with blowback. Tom Tillis, retiring Republican, has pledged to oppose all Fed nominations until the matter is resolved. Others have criticized it, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, we know. Old news, next. JP Morgan says everything's on the table to fight the 10%. We saw that. Doubling the glasses output. That's cool. Dubious art of explaining what Trump really means. Sale of new homes hold close to fastest pace since 2023. PIMCO sees mortgage bond purchases boosting returns. Yeah, I think a lot of people are loving the yields of the mortgage market. I'm seeing this more and more in the secondary market where people are like, I want this. I want the yield from mortgages secured against, American real estate. Train America real estate. Okay. Very creative on the policy side, blah, blah, blah. All right, whatever. That's boring. Let's go check out the FT. Let's go see if the FT has any juice for us. We need some juice. All right, send that in. Okay, did I do it? Yeah, that's good. All right, cool. Stupid. It's like a little thing I have to send off. Okay, there, I did it. Is it done? Yeah, okay, good. Trump says help is on the way for Iranian protesters. Okay, well, let's see. Help is on the way as he urged them to take over the country's institutions. In a post on Tuesday, the U.S. president added that he canceled all meetings with Iranians. I don't think there were any meetings. After they bombed Iran, they said that they would talk to Iran, but they never have. So it's kind of like no meeting ever happened anyway. So I don't really know what they're smoking here. But anyway. All right. So what else? Then Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and the abusers. They will pay a big price. Help is on the way. I mean, that's kind of cool. Trump has been weighing whether to intervene militarily. Right, and we just saw the article about seizing oil tankers, which we think is a good idea. I actually agree with it. Some activist groups estimate more than 500 have been killed, including dozens of members of security forces. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that the numbers are really understated. They're making it so hard to get footage out, to get information out, the internet blackout, the Starlink, jamming. It's crazy. On Sunday, Trump said the U.S. military is looking at taking actions on Iran, looking at some very strong options. Tehran started to cross this red line with a crackdown on protesters. Oil breached 65 for the first time since November on concerns about potential strikes. Yep. Go take a peek at that. Because oil was really falling there for quite a while. Oil, yeah, wow. 65.80 now on the international blend, and Western blends at 61.34. Let's go see what Al Jazeera has for us. Let's see here. Trump has urged them to keep protesting. UN writes, Volker Turk said he's horrified by violence in Iran. Iran's foreign minister tells Al Jazeera, if Washington wants to test the military option it has tested before, we're ready for it. Basically saying they're ready for the B-2 bombers. Yeah. Part of me really doubts that they're ready for it. Nice saber rattling. Tens of thousands of pro-government demonstrators take to the streets to show off force. Weeks of deadly protests continue. Death toll is higher. Al Jazeera can't verify. Trump ends it with MIGA. Make Iran great again. MIGA. Yeah, I don't know if that one's going to stick, man. MIGA just... It doesn't have a good rhyme to it, you know? White House position is of a mindset that Iran wants to negotiate. According to the press secretary, Carolyn Leavitt, that's the preferred option. And they've been strung along forever, though, man. It's time for some balls. Some Jerome Powell balls. You guys seen the photo of the Jerome Powell balls? Okay. I should have saved it. Oh, I found it. There we go. Leaked footage of Jerome. It's so stupid, but it's great, honestly. You gotta love it. All right, let's get that off the screen after I bookmark it. Let's save it for later. Okay. More capable now than during the 12-day war. Sure. Let's see here. President Trump is currently considering very strong options for punishing Iran. Yeah. Ursula von der Leyen. Casualties in Iran are horrifying. No response from Iran to Trump's statement. They warn of organized killing. Wow. Kill and silence, and then erase. Kill, silence, and erase. That's terrible. We should write some of this down just to organize this a little bit. So, Iran, kill in silence, and then erase. Per Iranian Nobel Peace Prize laureate Shirin Ebadi. This is organized killing carried out under internet blackouts. We've got Starlink getting jammed and seized. Iran says the 12-day war was unique and they're now ready for the U.S. Leavitt, I'll just say White House press sec suggests negotiating is the preferred Iranian strategy. And then you had the Wall Street Journal editorial board. No, not the editorial board. You had, who was it? The op-ed pushing for seizing tankers. Kind of agreed with that. Where was it? That was Bondi. Yeah, there it is. Iran is hunting down Starlink users. But there's the editorial board. Oh, we should see what they're saying. Oh, where was it? Seize tankers. Here, this piece. Washington think tanks. Washington think tank suggests Trump should seize oil tankers to bankrupt the regime, right? Oops, that's this article. And then I'm going to be clear about my note here that after Operation Midnight Hammer, Trump said the Iranians would talk with us next week. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened. As far as, we're aware, right? Nothing ever happened. So the idea of talking now seems broken. Okay. Oh, where was that Starlink piece? Here. Iranians are using Starlink to share protest videos despite government jamming efforts. Users are being hunted. Wow. Wow. Write that down. That's wild. Okay. Confiscated dishes, electronic warfare. Trump has threatened to intervene. Let me see here. All right. Let's see what else here. Okay. Video from the streets is one way of getting information out about the scale of protests. More than 500 people have been killed, according to the human rights activists in Iran. Again, people think this could be as much as thousands now. It's terrible. Iran shut down most of the internet connection. Government has called for, made it difficult to connect calls or text messages. Wow, it's crazy. To get, to send call, or to make calls, to send texts. Make calls. Oh, unless you're on a whitelist. Wow. Unless you're whitelisted. Here are the kiddos here. Unless you're on a government whitelist. That's very interesting. This is the only way. Footage. User in Tehran spoke to the Wall Street Journal through a Starlink connection Sunday, said uploaded protest videos by relatives, sent them to third parties abroad who post them on social media. Only upload videos to people they trust. He said over his crackling and distorted Starlink connection. They're trying to jam it. Jeez, man, this is a mess. You can get a good connection often in the morning or midday. They transmit as many videos as they can. Oh, yeah. Starlink terminals are illegal in Iran and have been smuggled in. Wow, from Dubai. Terminals are illegal. Smuggled in from Iran or Dubai. That's interesting. Let's see here. Starlink kits, nonprofits are sending them in. Good business, I guess, for SpaceX. They're kind of doing a great thing. Giving people access to free communication, This is wild. Okay. What else? Oh, this is a cool infographic. Full timeline. Full timeline of crisis. Oh, this is neat. Yeah, look at this. A timeline of crisis. Currency plummets. Leader of the Revolutionary Guards is assassinated in Iraq. in a U.S. drone strike. Israel bombs Iran's embassy in Damascus. The helicopter mysteriously crashed in the fog. I remember that. Hamas chief assassinated while in Tehran. That was the building. Somebody planted a bomb in there. All right. Let's see. What else do we have out there? Powell isn't flinching. Well, we know. Mega bill, Trump war. Ooh, Republicans have some ideas in a mega bill. What are they going to put in it? Let's go see here. New party line Republican policy bill that'll slash the cost of housing and healthcare. Let's see how they're going to try to do that. The down payment, instead of a down payment, 0 to low cost home option for home buyer. Really? 0 down. Oh, let's just lower the down payment. Reconciliation bill. Well, I wasn't expecting this was just going to open some random Google Drive. It feels like a virus. Let's download it. It's political. I'm okay with political. All right. Let's see here. All right. Oh, this is interesting. A framework for the next reconciliation bill. By incentivizing the sale of affordable housing, selling off underutilized government buildings, and enabling the free market. I like the sound of that. How are you going to enable the free market to do this? Lower drug prices, reduce energy costs, rebuild. Okay, let's see how they would do it. This is interesting. Working Families Tax Cut Reconciliation Bill, and doing so enacted one of the largest transformational blah, blah, blah. Okay, so what about now? We must build on this momentum. The congressional permits an additional reconciliation bill. Thanks so much. Oh, that's a lot. That's fine. Thanks. Must rebuild on this momentum. Permits additional reconciliation bills. That's true. You can get up to 3 typically. Usually, you get 3 per session. I can't remember if it's per session or year. But you can play with this. So this is true. The point is 51 votes through reconciliation. They need to hurry up and do it to prevent losing this control they now have, right? So they actually can still pass legislation. And if that legislation is branded around affordability, it could work this year. Think One Big Beautiful Bill 2.0. Because they know they're not going to get anything done the next 2 years. Immediately begin developing the next recon bill. All right, what do they want to put in it? I want to see it. Yeah, here we go. All right, this is just more talking point stuff. Here we go. Making the American dream affordable again. A conservative framework for the next reconciliation bill. Create the Dawn payment program. Dude, I like Trump getting all this branding. They know how to stroke this guy so well, man. Somebody says, "You doing anything for your birthday, King Kevin?" Well, I ain't no king. I'm more of like a pauper. But yeah, bro, I'm gonna go to Disney World. I'm pretty excited about it. All right. 0 to low down payment option through FHA. I mean, we already have 3.5% with FHA, 0% with VA. You also have VA no loans, which are great. No down payment, no closing costs. All right. Yeah, mortgage portability. Maybe. Maybe. The lending industry won't like that. They like new loans, obviously. But I think it's reasonable, but would probably face appraisal hurdles, right? Because the lender has to be okay with it. What this actually does, ooh, you want to hear big business? I just realized what this actually does blows up second lien opportunities. Think, figure stock, or honestly, what we want to do with HouseHack, or HouseHack. Like, basically, if you're gonna port your old mortgage, but you're buying a bigger property, you're gonna want a second loan, sure, at a higher rate, but you're gonna want a second loan to get a little bit more access to capital. I like this, boys and girls. Isn't this how we go back to ninja loans? Not really. As long as you still have people with the ability to repay. The problem with back in the day was part of ninjas, no income, no job, no assets, right? It doesn't really matter what the down payment is if people can make the payment. And I want to be clear, I'm not saying that you should buy a property with 0% down. But I mean, if you make, as a couple, $30,000 a month, I'm just being extreme here, and you have a mortgage that's $4,000 a month or $5,000 a month, who cares how much money you put down? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's not a bad loan. I'll make a little note of that. DTI matters much more than down payment. That's my take. Bottleneck is urban low air control. What the hell does that mean? Kevin's vacation to Disney is not priced in. We got to sell, guys. Oh, no. Yeah. Direct relevant. We're not at 100% loans. And it's actually really hard to get the FHA loans. They're more expensive. They have, minimum PMI requirements. Actually, I think with FHA, it's called MIP. MIP for FHA is expensive. So they're not really that expensive or accessible. 0% is really only VA. So you don't really have a 0% down option right now. Direct federal agencies to sell off or lease underutilized federal properties. That's fine. Basically convert them. I'm okay with that. I don't like the word affordable because that usually means restrictions. Yeah, as long as there are no deed restrictions. Okay. Eliminate capital gains tax on sale of homes to first-time homebuyers. What? And sales of rental homes to tenants. Holy smokes, bro. You know how much money that would be? Oh, my God. Oh, talk about stimulus in my butt. Oh. No capital gains if you sell a rental home to a tenant? Bro, HouseHack Moon, baby. Holy smokes. Yes, please. Yes, please. Bro, that would save like 30 freaking percent. Us 30%. Well, federal, so at least 21%. I'll say 230%. You know, dependent on that's C Corp, right? 20 to 15 to 55% for single people or for individuals. Huge for flips, by the way. Like basically, if you could fix up a place, rent it out, and then sell it that year, oh my gosh, dude. Dude, that is money. Somebody says, LOL, that makes zero difference as there's already a $500,000 exemption on gains. That means nothing. For real, brah. You are wrong. What the hell? You come here and spew wrongness. Let me educate you. Wait. I don't think you get the full effect when I have the filter on. I just broke something. You're wrong! The $500,000 exemption is for a married couple filing jointly for a sale of their own home, and it can only realistically be done once every 2 years. That's not what the document says. The document says the sale to tenants of rental homes. Sales of rental homes to tenants. That means you could do it more than once every 2 years, and you don't have to live there first. So take your exemption comment and shove it up your behind, because you're missing the boat. But that's okay. That's why you come here, to get teabagged. Thank you very much. Okay, where was I? Okay. One sec. One sec, plugged in, not GFCI protected. 3, and see if they can the exterior circuits with the GFCI breaker instead if they think it'll help for that. Lights. Hold on 1 second. Okay, sorry about that. Somebody writes coupon code teabag. Oh, shit. That's a great idea. That's a great idea. That's it. Coupon code teabag coming up. Okay, I'm going to do a little special here. Hold on. That's a great idea. Hold on. We're going to honor the teabagging we just witnessed. All right. How do I do this? I got it. Okay, we're going to make this one expire today. Today, 11:59 p.m. All right. We got to do a little bonus discount for those of you who are live, or just today. We'll just say just today. 23.59. All products, coupon code teabag, no hyphen. Internal name. Bro got, no, he called me bra. So bra got schooled with a K. Okay? Expires 2026 today. display expiration. Okay, so if you want a little bonus extra off for the Meet Kevin membership or the ReInvestAI, it'll apply to both. You can now use coupon code TBAG until the end of the day. Let me just provide you the evidence of that. Just make sure when you click on the link by going to meetkevin.com or househack.com, you have to delete the other coupon, and then this will give you a little bit more off. So if you delete the other coupon, apply TBAG. So just remember that when you go to checkout, remember to apply the TBAG. All right. So where were we? Expires when the nuts hit the cheese. Come on. Okay. All right. Yeah. So it's funny. I had to eat these 2 pieces of bread because I was starting to get nauseous. And you know what's really interesting is yesterday Gemini told me not to steep the tea for more than 2 minutes. Otherwise, you could get, it could give you an upset stomach. And I'm like, that's bullshit. Well, I've been steeping this tea bag for like 2 hours. And I'm like, oh my gosh, bro, my tummy hurts. Like I feel like vomiting. And I've had that feeling before where like you have like tea or coffee on an empty tummy and you just feel nauseous, man. So Lauren brought me toast and it instantly cures it. I don't really want to eat toast. Like I'd rather have eggs or something, but so I probably won't eat all of this. But thank you. Gemini was right, I guess. How much is the membership? Well, sir, if you go to meetkevin.com or househack.com, depending on if you want the artificial intelligence AI, just released an update on it as well, or you want the Meet Kevin Alpha report and the course member live streams and fundamental analysis and the stock history and, my top 11 stocks to buy, it's now been updated to 11. I added an 11th stock. I saw a stock that was so delicious. The boobies were so good. I had to have them. So we added that. Anyway, I'm getting distracted here. So, establish a home savings account through the existing Trump account structure. Okay, now that's interesting. But more likely the AC area. There we go. Okay, cool. And then, sorry, I got these electricians. Sounds great. Lauren will guide them. Cool. All right, so establish home savings account through the existing Trump account structure, allowing individuals to leverage other tax savings account to make it easier than ever before for working Americans to save towards owning their first home. A home savings account through the Trump account structure. This sounds like tax-free contribution to stocks to gain wealth via stocks tax-free to use on a house in future. It's actually brilliant. Yeah, Mr. Dubs. It's probably one of the last things we're gonna do. HouseHack minis. Especially, but like honestly, there's some big money in it. If it could change with this. So my head with HouseHack right now is yes, and where yes. I'll just say yes. Okay, there we go. My head with this is, where was I going to type this? Oh yeah, so wedge deals plus ADUs plus one spec build. We have one speculative land build. I don't honestly know, does anybody give a flying hootie doody about a spec build? Because I have this, maybe let me know if you care about seeing this video. I could post this video about an area that I think is going to blow up in Utah. And so we have our only lot of plot of land is there, and I want to, make HouseHack a developer over the long term, like Lennar or whatever, where we can actually develop homes and not just buy wedge deals. But the reason it's called spec is because you're speculating on the area versus a wedge deal. You're getting a deal, right? And then in the longer term, then we go AI SaaS, which is what we're also building. And then also, after that, you have this potential, figure, or I'll call it tokenized lending on seconds, plus, like sales of properties in the future. This tax code right here is a boom for HouseHack. Somebody says, yes, Utah spec build. Yes, make it and post it. It's just going to take me like 2 or 3 hours to make it. Is it true you're turning Reinvest into a PTC treasury company? It's such a loaded question because anybody who hears that question should know that's like what I've guaranteed we won't do. Like we will own no Bitcoin. and that's not to be bearish Bitcoin. It's to say if you want Bitcoin, go buy Bitcoin. But the whole point of HouseHack is to diversify, away from that kind of stuff. Anyway, sorry, I don't mean to yap about that, but I always relate, like when I see these proposals and stuff, I relate it to how can we make money from this, right? And how can you make money from this? So you like the idea of the spec bill? Yeah, it's going to be one of the most expensive projects that we're doing, but I think we're already up a few $1,000,000 on it. I'm pretty excited about it, just in the land value, because we got in really early, and I'm really grateful for that. It's gonna be a lot of editing, a lot of work. Nobody knows a lot of work quite like your boy Kevin. Yeah, you know what they say. All right, allow individuals to leverage other tax advantage savings accounts. I think that's interesting. Impose substantial tax penalty for foreigners who purchase real estate. Yes, buddy, that's what Canada's doing. Also good for HouseHack. That's what Canada is doing, aka fight the, Chinese buying in Orange County or whatever, right? As an example, right? Or San Francisco. SF, we call it. SF. The locals, Kevin, they don't say San Fran. They say SF. Oh, man. We have too much fun with this crap. So, impose a 5% remittance tax on funds sent by non-citizens back to their country. Okay. And the child and dependent tax credit, marriage penalty by the requirement that both parents work. Wow. Okay. I'm a fan of this. Fan of child tax credits expanding. I may have 7 children. Not that I qualify anyway. No, I don't currently qualify anyway for these. So not trying to be biased. Impose a 5% remittance tax on funds sent by non-citizens back to their... Yeah, okay, we talked about that. Allow households with one working parent to contribute double the contribution to the 401k. Brilliant. Bullish stocks right here. Bullish stocks. Show us your house in RuneScape. Yeah, I haven't played RuneScape in like 73 days. My construction level in RuneScape. On my re-roll character, I think it's only like 69. Yeah, because I lost access to my like OG character, and I'm like, whatever, I'll re-roll it. I got like 99 strength and attack, defense, magic, range. Like I could go PvP. I got like 92 prayer, but like I said, I haven't logged in like 72 days. I flip-flop like a switch on video games. I play Splinter Cell really hardcore. Flip like a switch and then go play Halo. Flip like a switch and go play Age of Empires. Because that's what I want. Safe Cities Fund. What the hell is that? I mean, $1 billion Safe Cities Fund is a drop in the bucket. This is messaging. This isn't really a big deal. It's $1 billion to pay loyal MAGAs, is what it is. Politicians. Okay. Only game you need is Monster Hunter. What is that? What is Monster Hunter? Let me go see what this is. What this crap is. Monster Hunter. See if this crap is any good. Fantasy-themed action role-playing game. First installment was PS2. Wow. Latest release, Monster Hunter Wilds. Action role-playing game developed by Capcom. Game was released for PlayStation 5, Xbox. Third person. Video game. Large open world, freely open to explore. Sounds cool. Is there co-op in this? It's an RPG. Oh my gosh. The game supports 4-player co-op? Bro. No. No.
No.
Solars can list. Supporter hunters. This sounds awesome. Damn it. Damn it, you suck. Well, I gotta play this with Jack and Max. And Lauren. We'd have our own little squad. Or whatever you'd call it. Technical issues affecting frame rates on high-end PCs. Well, whatever. Just go play it on Xbox with the kids. Wow. Monster Hunter is just grinder. Somebody else says overrated. Somebody else says bad game. Somebody else says love Rust. Well, Rust is like, you can't really beat Rust, man. Rust is the best. Rust is the best. It's also the most toxic game. Don't play it. Like, if you want to hate life, you play Rust. Like, if you just hate happiness, Rust. Okay? So if you're miserable, you could get more miserable with Rust. Like, if you want to see the worst part of humanity, you play Rust. Which makes it sound so desirable. All right. Restructure federal housing programs conditioned by federal funding on local buy-in. What? Restructure federal housing programs conditioned by conditioning federal funding on local buy-in to streamline permitting process. Fast track. Sorry. I hired electricians and they're like, oh, we're only available at 9. So it's 9 and they're here. And so like Lauren is coordinating this through me, through text. They'll accidentally turn off power. That'll be funny. If I disappear suddenly, you could thank them. Restructure federal housing programs by conditioning federal funding on local buy-in to streamline permitting processes. Dude, I wonder, did anybody ever run for governor under the premise of streamlining the permitting process and fast-tracking local permitting? And repealing some of these other, complicated things? Did anybody ever run for governor on that? God, that'd be such a, that would be such a great governor platform to run on. Wow, that'd be crazy. Establish a residential emergency asset accumulation deferred tax yield. What the Establish a residential emergency asset accumulation deferred taxation yield called READY account that allows Americans to contribute new tax-free savings account specifically for home mitigation and disaster expenses. Yeah. AKA finance your home renovation tax-free. LOL. Oh, that's brilliant. Yeah, I gotta remodel this kitchen to be ready for forest fires, boys. Oh my God. Because you know that, like, you get, like, the loopholes are writing themselves. All right. Restrict HUD funding from going to sanctuary jurisdictions. Right. This is punish the Dems. Saves $48 billion? Dude, no way. LOL, $48 billion away from Democrats and $1 billion to Republicans. Some crazy math there. Well, we'll see about that. Prohibit illegal aliens and non-permanent residents from using low-income housing tax credit. Okay. Repeal the federal death tax. No way. No way. It's $17 billion right now, and it's called the estate tax. Yeah, there are a lot of people setting up irrevocable trusts because of these. This could kill irrevocable trusts. Irrevocable trusts. To some extent, right? Okay. Establish a new parallel option for individuals to buy comprehensive health insurance coverage with lower premiums in a separate marketplace. What? A new Obama marketplace? Bro, this is the government option. Oh my gosh. This is literally the Obamacare government option that was repealed in 2010. This, it might be. This sounds, oh, stop it. This sounds like the 2010 rejected government option in Obamacare. That's hilarious. Oh, that's funny. Reform ACA. That's fine. Tax credits to the people. I'm okay with that. This is basically like a voucher, right? To lower your costs. Drugs require health insurance companies to disclose cash prices. Oh, that's awesome. Yes on required cash prices, please. That I really like. Dude, I love this so far. Codify the Trump RX program. Bypass the middleman, the Trump RX program. That's cool. Cost sharing, federal medical assistance program, whatever. This is to save some money. This is to lower the cost. Where they're trying to save money to lower the costs of the bill. Enact ironclad program integrity reforms for federal child care programs to prevent the next Minnesota fraud scandal. Wow, shout out to Minnesota, eh? And Shirley. Foreign nationals prohibited from receiving welfare benefits if they send remittances abroad. Huh. So like green card holders, right? AKA green card holders can't get welfare if remittances. Okay. Require federal agencies to only consider U.S. citizens when allocating population-based funding streams. Wow. Really highlighting citizens over green card, like residents. Okay. All right. That's fair. But they should also make the process to become a citizen easier. But I remember back in the day, to get the green card, you had to waive your rights to social programs. Okay. Ensure tax parity for health sharing ministries, short-term plans, medical cost sharing. Require pharma amenities and benefit pass on rebates. Okay. Expand language to include working families tax credit to make all non-citizen foreign nationals ineligible for Medicaid, SNAP, housing assistance, or other benefits. Wow, that's big right there. Yeah, that's a lot of savings. Expand access to paid family leave. Okay. Fully eliminate the ability to collect the earned income tax credit for anyone not authorized to work in the U.S. if they're not a legal permanent resident. Zero tolerance on SNAP. Okay. Prohibits federal funding of illegal aliens temporarily enrolled in Medicaid prior to the formal immigration verification. Extend and make permanent the 1-year freeze on federal funding for abortion providers. 1-year free. So permanently, this was very Heritage Foundation Project 2025 priority. Prohibit ACA from financing gender transitioning. Do they do that right now? And elective abortions. I think that's a fair phrase right there, elective abortions, because some abortions are medically necessary to protect life of mother or in what's it called, unviable. But the gender transitions, that's interesting. Biological males, yes, please. Look at this. Tax colleges and universities that allow biological males to compete in women's sports. Hell yeah. This is bullshit. I have 4 daughters. Okay? Hell yes. I love this. Dude, I love this. I mean, I don't know if any of this is going to happen, but so far, I'm giddy about this. This is freaking fantastic. Oh, damn. Look at that reversal today on the Qs. I love it. I think we can get back to all-time highs, man. Like, things are looking juiced right now. Ubiquity gets back to 600. Wow. Rocket Mortgage down 0.5%. Circle, T-Mobile, Bloom. Oh, Bloom. They keep going, dude. They keep blooming. Wow, Super Micro, though. Just getting whacked. The bleed out. Mutilization. Oh, is circumcision considered a mutilization procedure now? Prohibit the imposition of economically significant rules that have not been preemptively approved by Congress consistent with the REINS Act. Okay. Codify on deregulation within the confines of the Byrd Rule. This is so they can get this through reconciliation. Royalty-style fees on lawsuits challenging federal Oh. Challenging federal procedural environmental laws. They're trying to tax the states if they sue, basically. Okay. Dramatically reduce BLM permitting requirements for minerals. Okay. Tax third-party litigation to discourage frivolous lawsuits that undermine growth. Now, this is interesting. But proving frivolous is hard. Fossil fuels and taxation of inflation. Ensure when Americans sell a home, farm, small business, or other assets, the taxes they pay are not influenced by how inflation has altered the value of their investment. Holy smokes, dude. Oh my gosh. This is for stocks probably too. This is a boom for stocks and real estate. basically, let's say you sell a stock for a 50% gain over 10 years, adjust out inflation compounded, you could reduce your gains by, call it 20 to 30%. Insanely bullish, dude. Holy crap. If they pass that, it's so bullish. Wow, bro. That's crazy. Because the Fed's telling you they're going to keep inflation at 2%. This is insane. Buy more American stuff. Refill the strategic oil reserve with Venezuelan oil. Okay. Limit or withhold federal transportation funding to states and cities granting driver's licenses to illegals. Okay. One sec. Okay. Limit or withhold federal transportation funding to, okay, sell that. Jumpstart accounts that would allow individuals to make tax-free contributions to savings accounts that would finance apprenticeship education. Oh, and initial business costs? Oh my gosh, yes, dude. And tax credits to allow businesses to onboard apprentices. Yes! Bro, who wants to be a Meet Kevin apprentice? Let's go. Huge. Tax-free money to start a business or get educated. Huge. Wow. Work opportunity tax credit. Reauthorize. What was that? Work opportunity tax credit. Work opportunity tax credit. Go find out what that is. Work opportunity tax credit. Federal tax credit for employees who hire individuals from specific groups facing barriers. Promoting workplace diversity and access. Federal tax credits for $1,200 to $9,600 per hire, depending on factors like hours and stuff. Pre-screen applicants using the IRS Form 8850. Veterans, SNAP, SSI, ex-felons, summer employees, long-term family assistance. You mean like nannies? Cannot be claimed for relatives, dependents, rehires, or individuals owning more than 50% of the business. Okie dokie. No problem. And it was like, what was it, like $1,000 to $9,600 tax credits? Something like that. It was $1,200. Yeah. Okay, that's cool. Pump it, dude. Holy smokes. Forest management. Bro. Yes. I love this. How many reconciliation bills can they do? Is it per session or per year? We gotta summarize this. Three per fiscal year. Spending, revenues, and debt. Well, we're in a new year. Wow. Dude, that's bullish, man. I hate to say it. Do I hate to say it? Wow, Microsoft, what the hell? Look at that bleed from Microsoft. That's wild. Microsoft is down quite a bit. 469 divided by 553. 15% off highs. That's wild. Money, money, money. All right. Let's summarize this juice. This is a good one. Somebody says, my vision board has Kevin's face on it. Hey, that's gay! Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying. Maybe you are. You know? All right. Making the American dream. Yeah. All right. So let's break this down. Hold on. I have some of my tea bag here. Yeah, I guess I hate to say it because when you go through these bills, you know, it's like so exciting, but it's still just an idea, right? So. Anyway. Oh. All right. So. Will HouseHack start to get debt as leverage? That's not the plan right now. Maybe one day, but it's not on the radar. Right now we got plenty of cash, and then also if we do this lending thing, you know, we might create some kind of option for people to basically invest in those securitized bonds or mortgages, basically. You know, like you get a 9% yield or 8% yield or whatever the market rates are at the time. Kevin, friendly reminder, you have an overdue annual eye exam. Yeah, I know my eyes are shit. I don't need an exam to tell me that. Okay, cool. So, all right, good. Let's do this. I don't really want to, but I do think it's actually going to be a fun summary. Because I want to think about like how this affects us money-wise. I think this is quite bullish. And where is this from again? This is codifying the Trump agenda for the next generation. But who put this together? Because we got this from Politico, right? This is a slew of proposals under the Republican Study Committee. Yeah. All right. Fine. Here we go. Holy smokes, Donald Trump's Stimulus 2.0 might be one of the most exciting things ever if you frankly own stocks, real estate, a business, want to start a business, are American, are a citizen, or just love money. So if you aren't a citizen, don't love money, don't own stocks, don't own real estate, you might not like this bill as much, though there are also some benefits in this. But this is insane. So let's understand what this is first of all. So last year we passed what's called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It was basically a collection of a bunch of tax benefits like no interest on car loans, which what good does that do when everybody's giving 0% APR? No tax on Social Security, no tax on tips, obviously subject to limitations, right? And we're like, all right, cool. Yeah, all right, that's cool. But like, is that going to be one and done? And they passed this through budget reconciliation. You could utilize budget reconciliation, which in English means you only need 51 votes to actually get the damn thing passed, which is really important because if you need 60 votes in the Senate, it ain't gonna happen because the Democrats are gonna go, no thanks. So you use this thing called the Byrd Rule that says that, hey, if there's something that has to do with the debt, revenue, or spending, as long as you can justify to the Senate parliamentarian that the bill has something to do with one of those three things, you can pass one reconciliation bill for each of those three things once a year, or one bill that touches all three things once a year. Okay, we're in 2026. The one big beautiful bill was of 2025. 2027 and 2028 will probably be Democrat-controlled, either House or Senate, and nothing's going to pass. Which means there's a real opportunity to pass a really big, quote, mega bill 2.0 that the Republican Study Committee has already revealed a plan for. And I'm telling you, if you like money, you need to know the components of this because it's probably the most bullish thing I've ever read about the Trump administration. And trust me, I sit here all day long and I read crap about the Trump administration, you know, whether we're talking about the DOJ or Trump's love and hate relationship for Bondi or Iran or whatever. But this is just like, if you love money, OMG. So what is this? So we clicked on this slew of proposals and got some Google Drive link, which takes us to this. Glorious American flag and the eagle, making the American dream affordable again. Now, we've already gone through all this, so we'll give you the bottom line, keep this straight for you. Basically, these are the marketing premises. We're gonna get the free market to slash the costs of living in America, right? Don't forget about that. We got to get into the actual money. Like, why are stocks going to go up, Kevin? Why is real estate going to go up? Why are you going to make more money with businesses in this? All right, one thing at a time. You ready for this? Here we go. So the policies that they're promoting. First, the Dawn Payment Program. This is the Donald Down Payment Program. Basically, it would open up the potential door to doing zero or low down payment options through FHA. Now, you have to understand that today, the Federal Housing Administration already authorizes a 3.5% down loan. But this comes with what's known as mortgage insurance premium, and it's permanent now. You cannot get rid of mortgage insurance premium once you get to 20% equity like you can with PMI, which is known as private mortgage insurance. So this has been one of the issues why a lot of people don't end up doing the 3.5% down with FHA. I actually think it's a great program. I bought my first house with an FHA loan, 3.5% down, 2 or 3K loan, which is the renovation loan. You know, it's a little bit of a hell of a process. But today, the only 0% option you have is if you're a veteran. You could also do something called a no-no, which is no down payment, no closing costs, and you could actually finance like 104, 105% of your actual loan. Now, this obviously then immediately makes people worried. If they're going to expand these lower down payment options, are we rebuilding in 2008? So yes and no here. The issue going into 2008 was that we didn't have the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, and we didn't have the ability to repay rule. We didn't have limits on people actually needing to prove that they have the job and the income to repay their loans. And this is where debt to income obviously matters and qualifying borrowers matters. So as long as Donald Trump doesn't gut the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which he did last year, but then courts have overruled that and they've said that you have to keep funding it, we're not going to see a housing bubble yet. Could it contribute to a housing bubble? Yeah, of course. Like, let's be real. Trump wants less regulation and doesn't like the ability to repay rule, doesn't like the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. But it will be a housing bubble for, 10, 20 years or whatever. That takes time to build up. But really, down payment matters less than debt to income. If you can make the payment, the down payment tends to matter less. So anyway, that's one thing that they're looking for. That's obviously bullish for housing. It's a bullish catalyst for housing.
Bullish catalyst
means home prices up, right? Usually it doesn't actually make housing more affordable for people. It just means prices go up for the rich people who already own a bunch of real estate, right? Okay. Now, expanding mortgage portability. This is basically saying that, hey, if you have a 2.7% 30-year fixed rate mortgage on the first house that you're currently living in and you want to move, but you don't want to lose that mortgage, you might be able to transfer it over. Obviously, it's going to be subject to getting a new appraisal. Now, this actually creates a really big bullish catalyst. So I'm gonna show you how to make money on this, okay? So how to make money on this one, owning real estate. Okay, that's how to make money on this top one. All right, that's going to be different over here. You know what? We'll go with like dark green for how to make money. So how do you make money on this next one, on this mortgage portability thing? The way you make money on this is owning second mortgage lenders. So what I want you to think of is I want you to think of companies like Figure. That's ticker symbol FIGR. They do tokenized HELOCs. HouseHack is looking at getting into doing exactly this with our AI SaaS business. So we have an AI valuation SaaS business. And as we perfect that algorithm this year, we want to get into doing second home loans. Basically like, hey, I found a good deal. Swipe up and get a second home loan, right? Kind of like Figure, and then sell off those loans like Figure. Obviously, we'd just be a competitor in that space. I'm not trying to pitch HouseHack. I'm trying to say that that would be a place to benefit from this. Why? Because if you port over a low interest rate first, you have the capacity to pay more money on a second, but you probably have a bunch of extra equity on the second, and you might need the second to have basically, to bridge the down payment that you're going to need to get that second property. Obviously, we don't have all the details yet. All of these are just ideas right now, but I'm just going to give you my first reaction. Number one, you make money owning real estate. Number two, you make money owning second mortgage lenders. Now, Figure is actually one of the stocks that I bought at IPO. It's really rare for me to buy a stock at IPO, so we bought it over here in like the low 30s, and it's absolutely blown up. It's one of the top 10 stocks. It's now 11, top 11 stocks to buy in the Meet Kevin membership, which of course, as we were making this video, and you could join this and get lifetime access, you get all 9 courses, every trade alert, every live stream, every alpha report every morning. But as we were, reviewing this in the live stream, somebody got teabagged on our live stream. So because they got decimated so badly, we made a coupon code teabag. So if you go to meetkevin.com or househack.com, if you want the AI side, real estate AI, you could use coupon code TBAG, that's just the letter T and then bag, no hyphen or anything. And then you could get a little special bonus coupon before the end of the day. TBAG. Okay. Anyway, sorry, back to how to make money. Okay, so over here, we're going to expand access to affordable private housing. Look, as long as we don't know yet how to make money here. Usually developers win by this, but you have to make sure there aren't deed restrictions, because if you deed restrict the affordable housing, which prevents people from like renting it out or actually making money from it, there are actually more problems than benefits you're creating with that, so you have to be careful there. So builders, okay, great. Then we have eliminate capital gains tax on sale of homes to first-time homebuyers and sales of rental homes to tenants. Now, this is unfortunately where we had to teabag somebody. They're like, Kevin, this doesn't matter because, you can already get a $500,000 exemption for selling your property. But they misunderstood, and it's fine. We still love them, it's fine. They got to see some really big balls though. But, I don't want to get this video demonetized, so let me get that off the screen. But anyway, $500,000 homeowner exemption works if you live in the property. If you're single and you own a property, you can exclude $250,000, and if you're married, it's $500K. If you live in a property for at least 2 of the last 5 years, which practically means you can only use that exemption every 2 years. That is different from this. That is massively different from this. This is like the most stimulative thing I see in this. Actually, there are a lot of things, including what's coming up on stocks. Just wait for it. But by eliminating capital gains taxes on sale of homes to first-time homebuyers and homes to tenants, see that? And on sales of rental homes to tenants, you have to understand what this does. It basically says Donald Trump is calling up HouseHack, going, yo, HouseHack, sell your shizmiz to some of your tenants, and we'll waive all your capital gains taxes on those deliciously profitable wedge deals you guys got. And I'm like, oh, damn, you just increased the ROI of selling real estate a lot, right? Because on a C corporate level, you actually you provide a 21 to 30% benefit for a C corporation, depending on what state you're in. And for individuals, including flippers, like Open Door, honestly. I don't like Open Door. I think they have a shice business model. But, how to make money on this? Frankly, Open Door is on the list. Look, I will tell you my bias, but that doesn't mean I'm not going to tell you the truth. You know, I think Open Door is trash and they're a bad company. Sorry if you like Open Door, but I'm going to be honest with you. This is good for a flipper like Open Door. They can prioritize selling to first-time home buyers and save a crap load of money on capital gains taxes. It's huge, dude. This is huge money if this stuff actually passes, right? Oh, sorry, I put this note down here just for a little color on HouseHack. This really doesn't have anything to do with this. So I was just talking about how HouseHack makes money. You know, wedge deals, obviously, discounted real estate, building ADUs. We have one spec build going on. Some people are leaving comments saying I should make a full video on it. It's in Utah. It's an area I think it's going to blow up. Maybe I'll make a video on it. Leave me a comment if you want. Then obviously the AI SaaS we have at househack.com. The teabag coupon works there too. And then tokenized lending on seconds and the sale of properties, which is kind of like Figure, but we can also tokenize sale or sell properties to home buyers or tenants. So there are some really cool things we're working on, including with Coinbase. So we're just like jumping up and down. But anyway, establish home savings accounts. So this is interesting. This is really like, we don't know the details of this, but it sounds kind of like if you put money into some kind of Trump MAGA home savings account, you'd be able to write it off on your taxes. We don't know how much. We don't know, what the amount is, but let's say it's like, hey, you could put 20 grand a year tax-free as long as in the future you use it to buy a house. That's great. That is a fantastic tool. And what you would end up doing is you would invest in stocks in the meantime, presumably, to gain your wealth until you buy a home. That's massively bullish for the stock market, right? So how do you make money on this? Stocks. That's how you make money on this. So on this one, we'll put stocks, okay? This is impose a penalty on foreign companies buying land and real estate in America. Canada has banned foreigners from buying real estate, and you're really trying to ban like the Chinese buyers from buying in SF or Orange County or the foreigners from buying real estate in America. This is also great for, local people buying real estate like us. Anyway, impose remittance taxes. There are going to be some things in here that they do to lower the cost of providing some of this stimulus. And the way they do this is by saying, okay, well, we're going to cut funding for things that we don't support. Like you'll see some Democratic initiatives get some cuts here as well. And remittances are often considered a way to kind of take money away from immigrants who come here. They could be here legally, but they send money back to people in Venezuela or Mexico or wherever. And that is really taxing them, which, that's obviously a political hot button. Okay. Ending the child and dependent tax credit marriage penalty by the requirement that both parents work. This is basically stimulus for children. Okay, now you have to have less than $400,000 a year in income on this. So I wrote that I don't currently qualify for this anyway, except I misspelled qualify for this anyway. So how do you make money on this? Have babies, and you'll see more. Now, obviously, babies are going to cost you more, but I'm a big fan of this. Anything that encourages children, big fan. I've got 7. I want more. I also have 4 daughters, and you're going to see why that matters in just a moment. Allow households with only one working parent to contribute double the annual contribution to their 401k. Okay, so 401k limits are like $23,600 or something like that. Your employer can match an amount. So with a SEP, I think you could go up to, or a simple, you could go up to $70,000 with profit sharing. It's complicated. The numbers change every year. But the point is, you basically double the contribution if just one person is working rather than both. I think that is bullish stocks. Because when people put money into their 401ks, that money flows into what? Stocks. Great. Bullish, dude. How to make money? Stocks. You're gonna see this quite a bit here. Trump does not want this market to go down. He is shoving the adrenaline pin anywhere he can. He'll shove it into Jerome Powell's butthole. Stimulus, adrenaline. Now, eventually, we're gonna have some side effects of all of this. But for now, this is delicious. Not the butthole, the stimulus. All right. Anyway, sorry. Establish Safe Cities Fund. So this is basically a way to reward loyalists to MAGA. So if you're a good Republican mayor, we'll give you money. Okay, so we don't really make money from this. This is just sort of MAGA branding. And over here, they're going to take away $48 billion from Democrats. So it's kind of crazy because they're taking away 48, but they're only giving $1 billion. That's because they're giving so much money to other areas like housing or stocks. Streamline the permitting process and fast-tracking local permitting. Wow, this, when I read it, my first reaction was, wouldn't it be great if like somebody ran for governor under the idea of streamlining the building process to make it so we could build more homes? That kind of governorship, that would be like mind-blowing. That would be incredible to have a governor that actually had the balls to do something like that. But, crazy. Anyway, this is some fancy, crappy name. The Residential Emergency Asset Accumulation Deferred Taxation Yield Strategy. Basically another tax-free account where you could fund money for, it says, home mitigation and disaster recoveries. My opinion is, I think this is going to have such a broad definition that you're basically going to be able to finance your home renovations tax-free by, saying, hey guys, I need to remodel this kitchen to minimize the risk that my house floods or that a fire burns my house down. We're going to put in fire sprinklers. And if we're going to do that, we're going to have to tear down the kitchen and the bathrooms. And it's basically a tax-free way to renovate properties. It's insane. It's really bullish real estate and construction. So how do you make money on this over here? Okay, this is construction and real estate. Really bullish on that. I like that. Okay. Now, then we have over here, repeal the federal death tax. So this is currently called the estate tax. And so what a lot of people do is they put money into irrevocable trusts and they try to let money grow tax-free over there because they're worried about the estate tax robbing money from their children. Actually, in yesterday's Daily Wealth, if you haven't gotten that yet, you could download the Meet Kevin app. We just updated it. You get the Daily Wealth notification every day. And we were talking about estate taxes and trusts. I think they're real good money and wealth saving tips we give in the Daily Wealth every day. But anyway, sometimes they're motivation, happiness, right? But sometimes they're also tax and money saving. And again, you get that for free. You just download the Meet Kevin app. It's free. So repealing the death tax kind of kills the need for a revocable trust for a lot of people. But the current death tax, which is also known as the estate tax, is $17 million, not billion, sorry, $17 million. And so if you die and you have more than a $17 million net worth, your estate pays, a 30-ish or whatever percent tax. I'm ballparking the number there on the tax. But if you permanently get rid of the death tax, you basically let rich families get rich longer. So, or stay rich longer. So how to make money on this? Be rich or be Trump. Like, Trump has been desperately trying to figure out how to get money from his pockets to his kids' pockets. Because, the clock's ticking, bro. But anyway, so real healthcare Americans can afford. Now, this is really interesting. Establish a parallel option for individuals to buy comprehensive health insurance coverage with lower premiums in a separate marketplace. Okay, to me, this sounds like a straight up copy of the 2010 Obamacare government option that ended up getting rejected. So basically, the government gives you an option for a plan that's cheaper and a direct competitor to some of these other companies. Anyway, reform the ACA subsidies. This is to give you vouchers instead of just reducing the cost of your insurance. You get money to pay for your insurance. Fine. Cash prices for medical care and disclosing out-of-network costs. I think this is brilliant. I don't think this is a thing where, like, you go make money on it. But, like, who's tired of seeing the hospital bills? When my daughter almost died, summer, we had a $1.5 million hospital bill. And the insurance company is like, we paid 99% of this, and you owe, whatever it was, $20,000 or whatever. And my mental thinking is like, there's no way it was $1.5 million. I mean, I know she was there for 3 months and she had emergency surgeries and all that stuff. But like, dude, come on, $1.5 million. Like, how much of this is just like, to make it seem like you're getting a better deal, right? So I think this is interesting. Required cash prices. I think that's actually really good. Bypassing the middleman via Trump RX, so codifying some of that. Let's see, this is where they're trying to save some more money, like eliminating the Minnesota fraud scandal, like basically ironcladding voucher programs for childcare. Personally, I'm a big fan of just have less of this. That's my opinion. My opinion, less government. Like, get the government out of your childcare, out of the way. If poor people need help, give them a voucher. but don't subsidize the businesses. Let the businesses compete in the free market. That's my opinion. That doesn't mean, I mean, you're here for information, not necessarily my opinion, so I'll just move off of that. Okay, but that's why I also like to signpost my opinion, because I don't want to make the whole video seem like a blur between Kevin's opinion and facts. So I like to try to signpost that. Prohibit foreign nationals from receiving foreign welfare benefits. Yeah, immigrants aren't going to like this. Like if you have a green card, or you don't have a green card and you're just like on a visa or whatever, it's going to be a lot harder for you to send money abroad. Like there'll be taxation against that. There'll be limits to your ability to get on benefit programs like Medicaid or SNAP. Back in the day, to get the green card, you had to waive your right to certain social programs. Which we did. So like I was an immigrant at 1 year old or whatever, and I remember back in the day going to the INS office, not at 1, but when I was like 6 or 7. But that used to be called, what was it, the Internal Naturalization Services or some bull crap like that. But whatever. Back in the days of the INS, that was before Department of Homeland Security came around after the 9/11 attacks. That's when you got TSA as well. But anyway, then they're looking at expanding the language for the working families tax credit. This is where I was just basically what I was saying. Making you ineligible for Medicaid, SNAP, housing assistance, and other forms of benefits if you're not a citizen. So, it's a boost if you're a citizen. That's actually more of a takeaway if you're not a citizen. So there's an incentive to trying to get your citizenship, right? Hopefully they make that easier for people. Same thing over here with the earned income tax credit, child tax credit. If you were not authorized to work in the U.S., you wouldn't get those. Extend and make permanent the 1-year freeze on federal funding for large abortion providers. This is a Project 2025 priority. Prohibit Medicaid and ACA enhanced tax credits from financing gender transition or mutilization procedures and elective abortions. Okay. Obviously, this is a Project 2025 thing as well, but financing of gender transition, a lot of people are like, my tax dollars should not go towards somebody transitioning. That's a very popular opinion at the moment. Obviously, some abortions are medically necessary, so I do like that they've clarified here elective abortions. And then I personally, my opinion, I really love this line 26. Implement a tax on colleges and universities that allow biological males to compete in women's sports. Hell yes. Okay, I think that's bullshit. Sorry, I shouldn't say bad words. I think that's poopy doopy. I think it is the most little pee-pee thing you could do.
Little pee-pee.
No biological man should compete against a woman. Sorry, I have 4 daughters, so hell yes. And if one of my 3 boys wanted to compete against girls, I'd punch him in the face. Sorry. Okay. Moving on. Codifying President Trump's executive orders focused on deregulation and affordability. Okay, this is basically just to try to make the whole bill align with the Byrd Rule, which has to do with reconciliation, right? And this is just an idea, right? Okay, so impose a series of royalty-free. Okay, so they're trying to limit lawsuits on like frivolous lawsuits. There are a couple provisions here on limiting lawsuits for frivolous stuff. Or frivolous lawsuits from states against the EPA. This doesn't really affect us. I wouldn't really worry about this. Like if you're personally worried about getting sued, it's really hard to prove that a lawsuit is frivolous anyway, so it's not going to make much of a difference. Dramatically reduce the Bureau of Land Management permitting processes. How to make money on this? Honestly, probably look at keep an eye on MP material. A lot of the selling pressure might be done now. I said at $100, at $80, I'm like, these guys are going to go to 100. When they were at 100 in my alpha report, I'm like, they are going to plummet. Okay. They plummeted over 50, but they've now, look at this. They bounced off the 200 DMA and they've regained. Now they're on their second Fibonacci retracement right here at 65.78. So, keep an eye on this. Remember, the government has a stake in this. Okay, so then end the taxation of inflation, ensuring that when Americans sell a home. Oh my God. Sorry, I shouldn't use the Lord's name. Oh my gosh. This is freaking money. Money, honey, in your bag pockets. Holy smokes. Let me read this to you, but this is literally stimulus for rich people. It's how to make money on this. own stuff. Okay, literally. Listen to this. End the taxation of inflation, ensuring that when Americans sell a home, farm, small business, or other assets, like stocks, the taxes they pay on the sale are not influenced by how inflation has artificially altered the value of their investment. In other words, let's say you sell a stock that you've owned for 10 years and you have a 50% gain in that stock. But then you have to compound inflation at 2% per year, right? So 1.02 times 1.02 times 1.02 times 1.02 times 1.02. I should really use exponents to do this, but this is a very basic calculator, so it's not gonna work. And yeah, I got to like 22%. So you basically could reduce that 50% gain by roughly at 2% inflation per year for 10 years, around 22%. And if inflation's a little bit more, then potentially up to maybe even 30% or more, right? Or if we have another Bidenomics, inflation, which, Trump had some doing in that as well. We can't just only blame Biden for the inflation. But anyway, so if we have another inflationary spell, you could basically say all that money you're making in stocks is tax-free to the tune of whatever the compounded rate of inflation was. This actually incentivizes buy and hold and owning stuff. Again, this applies to real estate as well. So incentivizes buy and hold, but I want you to think about this for a moment. Like, think about housing for a moment, what we've heard here. No taxes if you sell to tenant or adjust off inflation. The value of owning real estate explodes with this. Also stocks, right? But this is great. That's crazy. Especially since we know the Fed is going to keep inflation at 2%, even if we go into a disinflationary cycle. Refill the Venezuelan oil, refill the strategic oil reserve with Venezuelan oil. Then establish okay, here we go. This was another big W right here. Ready for this? Tax-free contributions to savings accounts that would finance apprenticeship education and initial business costs. This is a new tax credit to allow businesses to onboard additional apprentices. So in other words, like if HouseHack hired a bunch of apprentices, we could get some delicious tax credits. Or you want to start a new business? Tax credits. You want to go learn how to be an electrician? Tax credits. Yes. If only there was a governor who or somebody who ran for governor under the idea of incentivizing apprenticeships, with some kind of crazy plan. I don't know, maybe you could call it something like future schools or something like that. I don't know, maybe there could be a governor who could do that. I don't know, maybe, but it's a great idea. So anyway, reauthorize the work opportunity tax credit. This is basically for hiring people of certain demographics. So if you hire people who are on supplemental income, SNAP, TANF, you are an ex-felon, so this is like second chance stuff, qualified summer youth employees, and long-term family assistance, sounds like nanny credits right there, I'll take those, or unemployment recipients. So if you've been on unemployment and you hire somebody off of unemployment, which could be like basically anybody, the business could get tax credits, which how do you make money from that? If you lose your job, if this passes, make sure you go on unemployment because you actually become cheaper for the business to hire if you're on unemployment. That's kind of crazy. Like if you're like, no, I'm embarrassed, I don't want to take unemployment, you actually get punished. That's crazy, dude. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, so, I mean, okay, you get the idea here. This is a proposal. It's not passed. But if they do this MAGA 2.0 plan, this is literally stimulus for rich people. This is stimulus for stocks. This is stimulus for real estate. This is stimulus for Trump's family. No estate tax. Oh my gosh. But it does also make it easier for you to renovate your home, to get into your home. Like, I don't think there's anything in this I don't like. And, that's me, like, I'm trying to be as neutral as I can. Because, for some reason I do that on this channel, which, basically just means I piss everybody off. But, oh, that's why I broke the magnet. Oh, I didn't break it off. It fell off. The guy we made the coupon code teabag for, I was starting to whack this. And then the magnet fell off. There we go. Solved. Anyway, yeah, so just a quick clarification. If you want to join either meetkevin.com or the AI that we have at HouseHack/reinvest, you could use coupon code TBAG. So the way that works is if you join and you want to get all the courses or you want to get the AI, you could use it on either of them. Delete the coupon that pops up between now and 11:59 p.m. and use coupon code TBAG, TBAG. All right? So with that said, I'm going to go back to drinking my WT bag. See the W right here? It's abstract art. But I think we got W's on this one. Anyway, that said,